back in the 30s, there was a thing in Germany called the Beer Hall Putsch. It was Hitler's first attempt to rise to power. Did it fail? Some say it did. No, it didn't. Pretty sure it was just before he wrote his book Mein Kampf, my struggle. I learned a term in German just so it would sound cool. Unser Kampf der Freiheit, means our struggle for freedom. Now, from that, certain events took place, and then him and his brown shirt mates, which I don't even think they had a political name for what they was calling themselves at that point, the Nazis, we'll say, set about a plot to burn down the parliament and then set up the communists. Because Hitler wasn't a communist, he was a Nazi. He hated communism. He was a socialist Nazi. So there's all these fancy names, and then you add this one to that one, which changes it. But as long as you have a voting system, it's democracy. That's all democracy is. You have a voting system. Majority rules. Which once you get over a certain population doesn't work anymore, because even the minority is too big a group to have disgruntled or disenfranchised. Yeah. If it's just a straight up so-called democracy we have, which we don't. It's a selection process. But that method worked. He told everybody what they wanted to hear, and next thing you know, he's the Chancellor of Germany. People took notice of that and saw how it worked, and it's happened around the world ever since. Atole, oh God, I could never pronounce his name right. I'll try to get it right for you, hang on. I've got it here somewhere. Crikey. Ayatollah, because I keep thinking of aioli. The salad dressing. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Ayatollah, that'll do. Ayatollah it was exactly the same ploy, exactly the same sales pitch from a westernised Iran that had discos and girls went swimming in bikinis, all that. But they became so dictatorial and such a tyrannical government. The people cried out for a hero. And just like Albert Pike said, when they need a hero, we shall provide them with one. The same things that's happening in America with Trump. Well, the same thing's happening here in Australia now. When the people need a hero, we shall provide them with one. Albert Pike said that back in 1800s. 33rd degree Mason. He was part of the Civil War. He was a general in the Civil War. Now, we've got a big problem here in Australia. It's a lot bigger than people realise. We're about to go broke. I mean broke, okay? I don't think, because we've never had this, we've never had what's about to happen, we've never had in this country. It's never happened. Except to the Aboriginals a couple of 100 years ago. If we're not careful, there is a way out of it. But allow me to retort. So some people think we need to rethink our... Ed Reeves here says we need to think our relationship with USA, UK, AUKUS. No, almost, but no. You was right until after the word with. We need to rethink our relationship with government, full stop. They all lie based on what their advisors tell us. Jackie Lambie has too, she's so cuckoo. They all have advisors. Politicians don't. They don't make any decisions. They don't have any say in yes or no. It's just the person that has been through the education, who's learnt to connect with people in a certain way. So politicians have a way of making you think that they have the country, they're carrying the country on their shoulders. When in actual fact it's the other way around. People are lifting them up to those heights because they're telling them what they want to hear. Nice little psychological trick, that one. Tell people what they want to hear long enough and they'll lift you up, and but you act like, I've got, these are the people I represent, I'm representing these people, and no, you're not. No, they're not. The truth is, they're telling you what you want to hear so that you will lift them up there. And once they're up there, they forget all about you. They never had you in their mind in the first place, other than people's backs to ride on. Everyone falling for the same Muslim line bullshit when they're actually the symptoms of the militias created since the invasion of Lebanon in 1982 that have gone unchecked. The Houthis, ISIS, ISIL, the Taliban. The list goes on and on. Oh, China's going to invade us, China's going to invade us. Why the fuck would China invade us? They pretty much own Darwin. Ask anyone that does business with Chinese people in Darwin. They're the best people in Australia to do business with. How do I know? I've got an uncle who's a millionaire in Darwin. He went up there as a chef that's done his apprenticeship at the Hobart Casino. They own everything. Paul Keating sold it to him. Was it the right thing to do? No. But it is what it is. That's something that we can't get out of without a problem. You have to honour a 99-year contract. You just have to. Why? Because an entire country's economics depends on it. You can't just rug pull a country and think you can get away with it. There's no way we would get away with that. They own so much infrastructure in this country, why would they invade it and destroy it? You better believe that they will protect their investment, one way or another. Now, we can either be on board with that, or we can get walked over the top of. It's that critical a decision. The United States is beating their chest and having a dick swinging competition with a tic-tac. They simply are not the military hegemony that they used to be. And when they were, it was only because they entered World War II last and still had heaps of shit left when everybody else was depleted. But it was Russia that won the day, not America. They'll tell you it was them. It was Russia. China learnt a hell of a lot from this. How? Look at the resources they have bought. Their road base is iron ore pellets and coal from this country. They've got spare cities ready to go. And they're sitting back. Nah, not yet. They're around the other side of the world. They're not bothering us. They can take Taiwan anytime they want. And they will, because it belongs to them. I'm not even convinced that Taiwan's not on their side. How do you get information from someone? You make friends with one of their friends. You befriend. You pretend to be enemies with one of their friends. And those two will talk about anything and everything. And they go back and tell who they think is their enemy. I send my friend to get information from you, and you think that me and my friend are enemies. You tell them anything. They'll ask you for help to bash me up, when in actual fact they're setting you up. Politics is a funny thing, especially when it comes to world trade and economic routes, logistics. The problem is most people are one-trick ponies playing whack-a-mole with no geopolitical economic negotiating prowess. In other words, we can't negotiate a decent deal. We're the sort of clowns that go to a car yard. We've got clowns, they'll go to a car yard to buy a car for 10 grand and they'll be like, oh, well, if you give it a polish, I'll give you 12 grand. And it's a turd. You just pay an extra 2 grand for a polished turd, a lemon. Why? Because they still come back and go, don't tell them we paid 12 or whatever, and, we'll do a deal and grease the pockets. We'll give you a bit more in minerals and resources than what we're telling the people, in the sense that we just won't charge you tax on that. You just lobby us with a bit extra money and we'll charge you less in tax, or no tax. So it's not lobbyist groups that hold the power, it's the companies that send the lobbyist groups. The negotiators, First thing we need to do is get rid of Pine Gap. And the US bases, they've got to go. They're a target. They're nothing more than a target to us. We're not going to get submarines. It's a pipe dream. How can we get submarines? America can't even win this with Iran. They're fucked. They're dead in the water. They've got about 5 weeks worth of munitions and they're done. Oh, but what about all the oil and diesel in Venezuela? What about it? It's still in Venezuela under the ground. They've got to refine it and everything. It takes time. And time they don't got. What are we going to do? Row over there in a canoe and throw rocks at them? We haven't got anything. We've got some remote controlled tanks down the Ilian and Waimano. Give me a break. We got to get rid of the South African mining companies like MMG, because they're not paying their royalties to us. We're not getting the royalties. Government's pocketing that shit. The government's borrowing money like hand over fist from the Reserve Bank of Australia, who have to borrow it for the International Monetary Fund, who need permission for us to print our own money at our own Franklin Mint. That's retarded. Meanwhile, our Commonwealth savings are going to the Bank of International Settlements via Unidroit and the Vatican. don't have a clue how this happens, how this all works. It's actually really quite simple. The financial system is meant to be convoluted, and if you take one piece out, none of it works, and nobody knows how to put it back together if it comes apart. Not even Epstein, the pirate of the Caribbean. You see, we've got this misconception about China. Every other country has no problem trading with BRICS nations. It's just all propaganda. Oh, the BRICS nations. What about the BRICS nations? What's your problem? What is your problem with the BRICS nations? Have they got wrong coloured skin, or is it their eyes? What is it? Or don't you have the noodles to be able to negotiate with them and economic trade? You're scared you might get a raw deal. Well, you're the idiot falling for it. Or someone is. We are. It's all propaganda and political spin, trying to hold on to a system that is falling. We can either walk away from these grubs and take responsibility for our lives and country for once, or fall with them. What are we going to do? Because we are about to go through something that nobody's ready for it. No one is. You've got no clue. The atrocities that you see on there could very well happen here. Why? We're not a member of NATO for a start. We've got 31% of the world's uranium in this country. We've got untapped petroleum basins, which Marinus is going straight over the top of, mind you, who are doing deals with Lockheed Martin, one of the world's largest military industrial complex contractors from the United States, in cahoots with Larry Ellison. We're going to be hooked up to Oracle and Palantir through Marinus. It's a threat to national security. It's not just a threat, it is an attack on national security, and it is treason. Because it's all about data. They told me that themselves. Yeah, I went and found out myself. I don't listen to these dickheads. I went and actually had a meeting with somebody from Marinus. And he just talked himself into a puddle, and I got up and walked out. Because I won't sit and listen to somebody lie to me when the look in their face tells me that they know that I know they're lying. Don't protest, no point protesting. What happens with protesting? Every time you protest and carry on, they pull out more legislature, more restrictions, more government overreach, they put on more police, and they gear them up with more military equipment. That's the plan. Now who do you think Bosie, Leibold, Guru and Challen are working for? And the rest of them. The ones that stole your money from Epic Park. Shieldcorp, same as Aussie Cossack. Where do you think they get their money from? They say they got no money. Bull fucking shit. Leibold went from rags to riches. You only got to look at him. They're all over you until you ask them certain line of questions, and then they start telling you everyone that you're a pedophile and a Freemason and shit. They're fucking Freemasons. They already have legislature and equipment waiting. They just want to hand it out, and now they can't justify it. We wouldn't stand for it unless things get bad enough, and we're the ones that make it bad enough. Cuckoo. So what do? You stay home. You stay home. Turn off the tax machine. They work for us, remember? They're spitting in our face and wasting our money, wasting the money that we pay them. They're destroying our lives with the money that we pay them. What do you think they're drawing up legislature that could have me locked up just for saying this? for making threats against the economy. Fuck their economy. It's not serving us real well, is it? We're about to go broke anyway. We're about to start punching on over toilet paper again. We're about to be like, there's going to be, I'm telling you, there's going to be people kicking indoors for baked beans. Why? The Strait of Hormuz closed. Means no oil, no diesel, no logistics, no trucks, no trains, no energy. Wait for the lights to go out. It's all going to come to a grinding halt. How are you going to feed your kids, dickhead? We're going to go broke anyway. Shit's about to get dear as fuck. You can have all the shiny... Why do you think everyone's telling you to buy shiny rocks? Shiny rocks in a vault that you can't get your hands on. Idiot. You can't eat it. They can use it, but you can't. You're giving them all your money for something you're never going to be able to hold in your hand. Is a penny dropping yet? All this time you should have been buying food. Where's all the good food been? Look at the garbage food we've been getting. Where's all the good food for the last couple of years? If you're smart, you stay home. No protests and riots means no riot police. Means nobody gets charged. Means there's no violence. Police can't intervene if there's no crime being committed. You're just not going to work. Well, you can go to work. We can also go to work and trade amongst ourselves. Just turn the tax machine off. Stop giving the money to those who are using it against us. Because when shit hits the fan, do you think they're going to let you in their bunker and feed you? We're the rats out in the cold. Look back through history. It's always this way.